So maybe I misunderstood, so when the class resumes in January, we're continuing with this.
Oh, yeah.
And
It's
adding on the 5 steps.
Right. Yes, yes.
Got it.
It's the Anatomy of Healing Prayer is the next book in this 3-book
Mhm.
trilogy. And John wants to teach, hallelujah.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, John hasn't taught in at least 6 years, other than the prosperity class and the fire walks. He hasn't done, and the practitioner classes, but he hasn't done a Monday night class like this in years. So I'm thrilled that he wants to teach. And so he'll bring in his book and he'll bring in his treatment, and it takes him 8 weeks to teach treatment, so he'll have half the class. The other half will do the Anatomy of Healing Prayer, and if we don't have time to get through it, we're not gonna rush it. It'll just keep going on. But it's wonderful lectures and essays and things like that from Ernest also. And the purpose of prayer is to go to that place. It's to go to that place, and you can go to another dimension with spiritual mind treatment. You go somewhere and stuff happens. I love it when people have something that has been absolutely verified malignant and ends up benign. I love that. I love that when someone was absolutely up against the wall and everything opens up. I just love that because we go there, but as we're doing treatment, we want to be careful not to get too caught up in secondary causation and in just controlling the conditions of our lives for the sake of controlling the conditions. We want to go into that place where the first step is that God is all there is. And the second step is that is what I am. And if you could get there, you'd never have to go to another step. Morgan.
So I finally got that, but I finally got that I'm dealing with the secondary causations. Oh, if I eat that, that'll fix it. Whereas if I'm looking for that, if I'm with that divine pattern, that's what the cure is.
Right.
It's not what I eat.
Right. And you'll either be guided to eat that which your body wants, or you'll take the McDonald's Happy Meal and up its vibes and you'll be good. Let's take a break. I printed it out and I never did read it to you, so while we're kind of completing, I'll do that. It's Ella Wheeler Wilcox' Illusion. God and I in space alone, and nobody else in view. And where are the people, O Lord, I said, the earth below and the sky overhead, and the dead whom once I knew? That was a dream, God smiled and said, a dream that seemed to be true. There were no people, living or dead. There was no earth and no sky overhead. There was only myself in you. Why do I feel no fear, I asked, meeting you here this way? For I have sinned, I know full well. And is there a heaven? And is there a hell? And is this the judgment day? No, those were but dreams, the great God said. Dreams that have ceased to be. There are no such things as fear or sin. There is no you. You never have been. There is nothing at all but me.
Oh, that's great. And it's called Illusion.
It is, the name of the poem is Illusion. The poet is Ella Wheeler Wilcox. She's got you found that book online, Sue? She's got a book of poetry online. I don't know if it's on our website. I know that I have a whole list of things that I want on our website, and I'm not sure which ones are up there or not, but it's great. So, you have me. You can share more about the class. You can ask me anything you want.
Too bad they're not emailing questions.
And from our online viewers, we have, okay, hold on, Darcy, and then Jen, and then Jane.
I don't know, but I've all of a sudden taken an interest in numerology. I feel like I need to learn more about numerology. I've been reading that numbers are really important and then they carry a vibration, but we're in a number 9 year, which is completion, and we're entering a number 1 year, which is new beginnings, which I think is really exciting. So.
Great, thank you.
It's thrilling to me.
Besides John, where do you go? Who do you go?
John's my go-to place.
He wrote the
No,
book.
you went to.
No, I go to John. John treats for me. I woke up Saturday night, in the middle of the night, very, very sick. I mean, I had the flu. I had fever. I couldn't stop coughing. I had that feeling of disease, you know that feeling? And John treated me and I was fine.
I never would have known on Sunday that you.
No.
That's because I was fine.
You-
I mean, I was getting him ready that he needed to do the talk, he would need to do class, you know, and that he would need to carry me down to Florida in a week. Because I was still going. If I'm gonna be sick somewhere, I'll be sick there.
That's all therapy.
Jane,
Well, I really need to learn how to manifest things, because I'm constantly losing everything. And
stop saying that.
that's the first thing, yeah. Wonder, I guess I just should believe that it's here somewhere.
Yes,
Yes.
yes.
Absolutely.
That's what you should do. You should believe that it's here and then watch it show up.
Oh, I see.
I've had things that were gone. I had a gold cross that one of my students made me when I was in Miami, and it's big and heavy, I mean, it's gold. And it was gone. It was just gone. I had everything out of my jewelry box, it was gone. And I treated for it, and it took a couple of days, and I opened my jewelry box, and all of the other jewelry was away from it, and it was right there in the middle with, you know, felt or velvet or whatever around it. Usually everything's stuffed in my jewelry box, I can hardly get the lid down, all that stuff, get it in there. And this, it just appeared. And so I believe that everything is here. If I can't see it, it's not that it's not there, it's that I can't see it. And usually I can't see it because I'm afraid and worried and freaking out and pushing it away with every affirmation that it's gone.
I see.
And when I relax, it shows up to me.
I see. So fear makes things disappear, right?
Yes, it does. Fear makes a lot of things disappear. People, money, opportunities. Wonderful. B.
Okay.
No?
That's too confusing.
Okay, too confusing. Okay. Who else? What do you want to know?
My little head.
We had it was, I mean, even now, I like marvel at it. I've had things disappear and show up months later or whatever. But this is something that, some of the stuff that I sell. So there's this little hat, not that little that it could disappear, but I'm putting this stuff together and like, where's the hat? The hat was not there. To say that I went through the stuff twice, picking up each one, and it's a bright color, you can see it. And I went into David and I said,
Drag me into it.
yes, I dragged him into it. I actually went through, there was a big bag of, it's not garbage, it's scraps from sewing and stuff. Big, I went through the whole thing, because I knew it had, I just would not believe that it wasn't there.
Right.
I would not believe it, parallel universe or not, I mean, I just would not believe it. It was there. It was like later, or?
Yeah, we took a break.
Yeah, we took a break from the whole thing. I went back in there and there it is on top of the.
Yeah.
Right, I mean, did I not see it? Was it, did they decide to send it back from the back?
Hey, I want it back.
So many
Universe
things
that
happen
decided.
Right.
with us that we just don't even, I mean, we used to go, oh my God, you know, that's amazing. You know, we just read that and then that came up on, and now we just like, yeah.
Yeah, there it is,
It's
okay.
all over the place.
Wonderful. Drew, and then Darcy.
Yeah, I was down at my mom's house, and you know, I just think, well, Germans, you know, magic fairy, something. Where's my stuff? And I was looking for my keys, and I was frustrated. Amanda was down there with me, and she said to do something in San Anthony or something. I forget what it was. And I went,
Saint
oh.
Anthony is the saint
Yeah.
of lost items.
I went, okay, and,
Love Saint
and I remember the words, there's nothing ever lost, nothing's ever lost, blah, 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 blah. And something blinked into my consciousness, right, just blinked in, of something that I had lost, that I put away for good reason, in a safe place. So it wouldn't get, and I remember where the safe place was, and I was traumatized over this. It's this big amber necklace, this huge, a choke a horse amber thing with a, I made this thing years and years ago, and I know, I remember where I left it. And it was, you know, 2 states away, in a mattress, in a plastic bag, so if someone broke in, they wouldn't find it. And I'm like, yeah, I know where it is, you know. And while I'm searching for my keys later on, I sit down, I think on the bed or the chair, and I look over, I'm still thinking about my keys, I'm like, I can't come back. I look over, and this is the bookshelf that I've stared at thousands of times, moved stuff around, done it. And a plastic bag caught my eye, and I've moved that shelf 4 times between here and there. This plastic bag containing said object of amber necklace was right there.
Was at your mother's house instead of 2 states away?
Yeah.
Cool.
Way in the opposite direction. I'm like, but
How did it get out of the mattress? That's wonderful. I love
and I
this
found my
stuff.
keys and some other things. I'm like, oh, there. Oh.
Everything is collapsing into form and disappearing over and over and over again, and it is our choice how it collapses into form. And it's also our choice that it doesn't disappear for good. The things that we want gone, we bring them back in. So it's just, we're at choice, 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 at choice. And that's true for, you know, organs that don't work, and money in the bank account, and all of that stuff. We're at choice, at choice, at choice. Wonderful. Who was after David? It was Darcy. I mean, Drew. It was Darcy.
I've been having a really good time because as I'm clearing out the clutter in myself, I'm finding it's filtering down into other areas of my life. I've been giving up things, and new things have already started flowing back in to replace them. But it's been a really fun time the last month, getting rid of all the clutter, and I'm finding my vision seems so much brighter, colors are brighter, everything just seems to have more clarity, so.
Good for you.
Good for you.
Questions, comments?
I have a question.
Morgan.
So the pattern of involution and evolution,
Uh-huh.
is that like the pattern of like a wave versus a particle? Is that getting too?
Well, if it was, the only place the particle is here in body.
Okay,
So it would be wave, particle, okay. If it was. It's a bit of a stretch. Actually, since all waves and particles are down here, so no.
Oh, alright.
As I thought it through, no, waves are in form also, it's energy, and that's in form.
I was just wondering about that pattern, because if that represents one person, when you put collective together, does that go like this?
Well, there's only one.
On and on and on, or
And yes, it goes like that, on and on and on.
kind of like when you look in a mirror and you see all those images that go way off into infinity?
There's only one. Everything goes back to there's only one. The implications of that are huge and transformative. This idea that God is all there is. It's just such a big deal. Drew and then Jen.
When I look at the teaching symbol and understanding it, I look at it as this tiny, tiny little hole, looking at one particular thing, just like under a microscope, at one massive thing. Because to me, like an oscilloscope, it's down and up, but it continues. It's a frequency. It's a vibratory
It is,
energy.
it's a frequency.
And
And we are focused in time and space.
yeah, and it's just a flat version of every different way, and it's just that's
Mhm.
this like the bringing it down to its bare essence.
Right. And so the vibration that is us, the frequency that is us focused in time and space, that is such a small part of us. And look at, wow, it goes on forever. It's just a tiny point. And the truth of us is that we are everything. Everyone, every when, it's all in us. Because this is us. This is us. All of us. Not this.
Okay, I got that, but would you say that there's different levels? Like you're vibrating, you have low vibrations, high vibrations, so that point, there's lines that are coming up before you get into law. So could you be higher up from that low point?
It's not like that. It's wherever you're vibrating, you're gonna have this as your experience. This is going to be the outpicturing of that vibration.
Okay.
But it's not a different level of vibration on the process of creation. But whatever it is you're vibrating at, that's what you're gonna get. And some people might say, oh, that's a low vibration, I missed my plane, and the plane crashes, you know, or you never know that the plane crashed. So we have to be careful not to put judgment on that. Nina.
It's a two-dimensional thing, and it's not two-dimensional, so that's why it's difficult to see it in that form.
Right, it's a teaching symbol.
Right.
It's an idea. And we've got a 7-foot one back there, backlighted. The thing is huge.
Cool.
January 1st, be here. Jen and then Sandy.
Can you share with us what you know about the history of this teaching symbol?
No.
Did Ernest, did he develop it? Did
Yeah.
he create it?
Yeah.
And do you know about when in his lifetime was it?
It's in the original textbook in 1926.
Early on.
Yeah, but he also has all kinds of other teaching symbols. You know, he's got the universal and the absolute. Doesn't even have any lines in it. It's just like this. And then he's got the universal. Oh, and the relative, not the absolute. Or actually, it's the universal and the individual. And this is the absolute and the relative. So it doesn't even have any horizontal lines going through it. He's got different ways of trying to teach you using two-dimensional pictures and words that are completely inadequate in and of themselves, something that is amazing. And trying to get you to have a feeling of it, trying to get you to let go of your idea that this stuff is real. This isn't real. This is real. And whatever it takes, you know, let's walk on fire. Whatever it takes. Let's sing songs. You know, let's have friends. Let's read books. Let's explore new ideas. Whatever it takes to get a shift in the way we see ourselves in the world. That's what that's about. But I have no idea where the teaching symbol came from. I just really like it.
Yeah.
Who was after you, Sandy?
This is coming from left field, and I hope I'm not stepping out of bounds with it, but when we were discussing unity,
Unity as in oneness? Unity as in the other group?
yes, you were in unity for a while, am I right?
Sure, till I gave up and said, okay, I'll start a Science of Mind Center.
What was the thing that made you do that?
Do what?
Go from unity to science of mind?
Well, I was teaching Science of Mind classes in the Unity Center and getting a lot of flack from the minister. It was at the point where he was pounding his desk saying, don't teach that metaphysical BS, and he wasn't abbreviating it, in my church. And I said, wow, that's a really good sign from the universe. Because it is my intention to teach that metaphysical stuff wherever I am. You know, and to teach people that they can be prosperous and that they can be healthy and happy and whole.
So it's always been for you. It just,
Always been what?
it's always been the oneness for you. It just happens to be where you were at the time.
Oh yeah, the Unity Church here was the only thing going on. I mean, this is 92, 92 to 95. So there was nothing else.
I was there.
Were you at Unity?
Yeah.
Larry Williams took Science of Mind 101 from me at the Unity Church on Airport Road.
That was amazing.
Yeah, so that's what that was about, and I was the assistant minister, and John was on the board, and John put the commitment program together to pay for the 22 acres out on Fanning Bridge Road that they bought and then built, and we were all catch the vision cups, you know, and buttons and all that stuff. We were all very involved in that, but I have to be in integrity with what I believe. And what I believe, I will tell people. Whether you're, you know, having a cup of tea, whether I'm teaching class, whether I'm doing a talk, I'm going to tell you what I believe because that's all I've got. And only if the door slams shut will I then have to go and look and find someplace else to do it.
It's just amazing to me because I see several people going to Unity and I'm like, I don't think that would work for me because I cannot unite what is already one.
Well, that's
I
what
think about that, yeah,
But
I think
everybody's-
about that a lot.
everybody's in their perfect and right
Right.
place. God is in unity.
Right.
You know,
And
everything's
if it works for
okay.
them, that's great, but I'm like, I just can't wrap my head around it, but I'm not supposed to, so that's
And,
okay.
and I don't do well being an assistant. I don't do well being an assistant.
I can see that too.
What else?
That was when Bruce and I moved here in '95.
That's when we started the center out of the cornfield. I have a movie I want to show you, and I'm not sure when to do that. I really want to start just showing it. It's the movie of when we built, and it starts with the very first day in our living room and building the old center out in Fairview, and then building here. And it stops at this wall, but it's a great movie, and Devon put it together, and it's got, it's a blending of two different things. It was the dedication of this center and the building all along with some voice overlay and some music and things like that. It's a 25-minute video, and it occurs to me that many people who are very involved in this center have no idea where we came from or how we got here. And so I want to show that, and I may just set up that extra TV in here and just start running it on Sundays after the celebration for a while and let people watch it.
What happened to the cornfield property?
I understand that there are plants growing out of the building because we touched the ground and no one kissed us and Satan got in there. So that property did not belong to us. The original trailer did. And the addition that we built on the trailer was on property that didn't belong to us. The first day we opened out there, John's cousin said that he was going to stand out in the driveway with his shotgun and make sure nobody came.
Oh, nice.
So the family never really did embrace us. And since then, no one wants to touch it to the point where I understand there are plants growing out the windows and doors. So, you know, dust to dust. Roxanne.
I would like you to talk more about how we go out of this rarefied environment or out of a Sunday service. You know, the same thing I talked about before when we went to these week-long retreats, and one of the facilitators would sort of jokingly say, because we were sort of up on a mountain, like you're going down into the density, not to be disparaging people, but different kind of energy. And sometimes that transition wasn't even easy, and I've been studying this a long time, and at the same time I just find myself doing some pretty low consciousness things, and then reaping the outer experience that comes with that. And I know one answer is daily spiritual practice and start your day right.
Forgive yourself.
And then in the moment of judging others or being upset, do you have any more clues, cues that
Take a breath.
just breathe?
Take a breath and just let it go and go, wow, I really got caught up in that. They really hooked me. I still have a button that's pushable. And I don't have to do that right now. Just let it go. Start all over again. Again and again and again and again and again. Just start all over again, David.
I think there's also something to know so that, at some point it stops feeling like us and them.
Mhm.
You know, so even though, yeah, I leave here on a Sunday and we gotta stop by Ingles, cause we go there every day, I don't know. But I find myself in the supermarket and it's like it doesn't feel right. But I let my centeredness and all of what I just shared carry me.
Mhm.
And rather than focus on how different that vibration is, I focus on the vibration I have,
Mhm.
on the vibration I am.
And I'll find somebody and I'll just
be friendly.
I just catch their eye and I'll watch the love bounce out of them.
Well, that's what I
They'll
find,
look at me and all of a sudden there'll just be this big grin.
because I'm all bright and shiny, I
Yeah.
just left here, and they're
Yeah.
like, oh, hi, I'm like, oh, hi. You know? So, you know, it's a little switch. but
And I have been blessed with really not having a big ego. Some people would disagree, but I don't feel like, I mean, I come from humble beginnings. And so people who are, you know, you look at quote unquote trailer trash and Billy Bob, and those are my people, you know? That's me, I'm very comfortable with that crowd. So I don't look at that as something that's different than me. Someone who's having a bad day, I can see that and be very comfortable with that. So I feel more that I'm not as tempted to feel so superior. I think in my youth I would find people in Publix in Miami to get behind just so I could diss their food. Oh my God, would you look at that, what they're feeding their children? And then I would get this superior rush out of that, and I'd outgrown that, we're all in this together. And then it's easier not to go into the judgment, even if someone is having a really bad day. I had this thing on Facebook that I shared, a story about a woman on a plane with a toddler. Toddler is screaming, and having been on planes with screaming toddlers, it gets really old after about half an hour.
Yes.
And this big guy gets up and walks, did I tell you about this? No. The big guy gets up and walks up to her, it's like, oh no, there's gonna be this big confrontation. And he says, I'm a dad, let me walk him. And so she gave her screaming child to this stranger, and he walked for the entire flight, up and down the aisle, and she slept. And so when we can connect with people and feel our commonality, we can reach out and have something wonderful happen. Instead of probably 100 other people on that plane were just, shut up, more beer, you know? And if we can say, I'm a dad, I'm a mother, I know exactly what's happening, he needs to be walked, you're exhausted, let me walk him. Because I'm not gonna get any sleep anyway, so I might as well walk him.
I made national news.
Did it? I saw it on Facebook, it was beautiful, beautiful. You know, let's all step up just a little bit, Jen and then Drew.
I was just gonna respond to what you had asked. One of the things that I find really helpful for me, because I get so charged when I'm here on Sunday, certainly after a Monday night class, that it ends up making the rest of the week feel, I don't know, a little barren, so to speak. And so one of the things that really helps me to keep the vibration up is to do reading all the time from different sources of this stuff. I'm reading a lot of other books by Ernest, and Greg Braden I'm into now, and some Wayne Dyer, and all of those different pieces really help reinforce and just keep this energy alive with you throughout the week, so.
Greg Braden's coming to Henderson.
I know, I know.
Thank you. Thank you, Jen.
You're welcome.
where were you? What was going on in your world when you absolutely got it? The point to where you have to tell people, you've got, hey, check this out. You won't believe what I just found out. And what was going on in your world? How did you?
What does that mean?
What-
I don't tell people who don't wanna know.
Well, I mean,
I don't go out and try to shove it down people's
Well, yeah.
throats.
but I mean,
But if you're in my class or in my space, or if you come to me and ask me what to do, even if it would be more convenient and comfortable for me not to just get in your face and lay it out, I have to get in your face and lay it out. I have to, otherwise I'm lying inside of myself.
And when was the first time that happened to you?
yeah, when's the?
I'm the kid who got kicked out of Sunday school. You know, I don't know that it ever started. I had a Sunday school teacher that was trying to tell me why black people were cursed. And I was 9 and just stood toe to toe with this guy, and he left in tears. And I never had to go to Sunday school again. But it's almost like something comes up in me and I can't stop it. Because I know the best things I've gotten in my life is when someone was brutally honest with me, you know, and just told me the truth. And it wasn't comfortable, and it certainly wasn't convenient, but it was exactly what I needed to know. And on those foundational blocks, I built my life. So how can I rob somebody of that and pretend that it's okay to just modify the teaching a little bit with God is all there is except for this particular disease? Oh, there, well, yes, you're different than everybody else in the universe, and this one's a tough one. No, it's not. Or, God is, the only thing is love except this person left me, or this person died and I will never get over it. Well, how can I leave somebody there and have any integrity inside of myself? I don't think there was a point. I think it's just who I am. Steve.
It's a little bit what you asked, which I am finding a challenge is, let's say I go to my quilting group and there's a bunch of women and everybody's talking, and it's coming to a point where I just don't relate. And at times I'm feeling so, I mean, it's serious enough, so I'll sit at home and I'll say to myself, okay, what am I retreating from life? Am I locking myself up? How do you balance being in the world but not of the world?
I have trouble going to see my kids sometimes. You know, and John and I will look at each other and go, gotta go. You're fighting, the kids are fighting. You know, you don't want to hear it, so love you, I'm gonna go. I gotta go for me. I gotta go for me. And I don't think it's bad not to put myself in a room because I share a love with someone if the negative experience outweighs the positive experience. If I leave a group feeling depleted and like Roxanne, if I'm going down instead of coming up, and I do that repeatedly, what does that say about me? I'm the one putting myself in there, and then I'm getting all judgmental that they're not going to change.
Yeah, no, I don't go into the down place. Where I go is I have nothing to say. And that tends to make the situation difficult, because then just, well, you know,
Or
nothing to say.
Or
you're not participating.
you could say, you could say God is all there is. You could say that there's a blessing in here. I mean, I don't know what they're talking about, but you could interject some truth. And then if you leave, you know, at least you gave it. You may find somebody who said, thank God somebody said something. I mean, must we just bash blah, blah, blah the whole time we're here? Let's talk about flowers. Who knows? And that's what I would do. I just get to the point where my own silence is a statement, And again, I'm out of integrity. Susan and then Sandy.
It's like the emperor's new clothes. Sometimes I sit in a situation and I'm hearing everybody talking on this level, and at one time I would have felt I don't belong here, pitiful, and how victimized I felt, and I was out of it. But now it's, I don't belong here, and that's really good, and that's a good thing. Not for the value of shock or friction, but I find that I'm able to bring more of me into situations which is not supportive like this. And sometimes people are appreciative and sometimes they're not, but it's okay because I've said what I wanted to say. And you didn't ask me, Drew, but when you were asking Barbara what her moment was, I remember after so many years of, like Jane said, wanting to believe and saying that prayer that came from the Course helped me with my unbelief and all of that. I was at a unity service and I heard Eric Butterworth say, God is in you like the wave is in the ocean, not like the blueberry is in the muffin. It was so
profound.
Tangible.
Yes.
It was so, I have goosebumps now. It was so visual, tangible, and I absorb a lot of stuff, but I don't always have a memory to repeat it. I got that one verbatim.
I'm just gonna say for the recording, God is in the ocean, God is in you like the wave is to the ocean,
In the ocean.
not the blueberry in the
Not like
muffin.
the blueberry.
Yes. Sandy.
One thing that has actually shifted with Beck and me, and we didn't discuss it until we pretty much realized it had happened, is there's all these people that you work with, oh, we should do something, we should do this, we should do that, we should do the other. And we usually end up making ourselves unavailable. The reason being is, I feel like we don't talk the same language. I actually had this discussion with Margaret one day. And it's, we don't socialize with people that are not like-minded as far as being sociable. We just don't. I mean, we'll stay home first because it's just exhausting. And I don't want to go to a place where I have to validate myself. I'm 48 years old. I don't need to validate myself. And as far as my aha moment, it's still happening.
Yeah.
It's still happening. I can't pinpoint when it is. It's still happening.
Good, thank you. And you know, I'm not so super duper that I can't let circumstances get to me. You know, and so being mindful of what circumstances I put myself in is smart. And if I find myself down in the muck and mire, just really being pissy about something, I've got to stop and take a breath and go, what's going on? You know, really, did you want to give your happiness up for that? You don't have to do that. Just let it go. Everything is brand new. Just take a breath and move on.
And I think I learned that from you. It's like, you know, if the situation doesn't work, why put yourself in there?
Right.
And you can't do the same thing over and over again.
Linda and then Sue.
I wanted to share funny with all of you because I went to see Wayne Dyer speak in person in San Luis Obispo. And he did all of his eloquent things that he always does, that, you know. And then he said that the other day I was doing this rats and frapple kind of thing, and my kids looked at me and said, Dad, would you like, your people like to see you like this? And we just,
Yeah.
because he gotten skewed.
And not to beat yourself up, forgive yourself, let yourself off the hook, start all over again. Sue.
So somewhere along the line, I was taught that if I'm in a situation that seems uncomfortable, or where people are gossiping, or whatever it may be, I should be able to like rise above it and not be affected by it. That should not make me unhappy, because my happiness is not dependent on what this stuff is that's going on. And, you know, bottom line is, I still choose not to be in places where I am not comfortable. You know, I trust my instinct, but there's something in me that thinks I'm here for a reason. I just want to find out why I'm here and then I'll leave. You know, but there's a reason that
Sure, because everything is an outpicturing of consciousness. So if there's gossip going on around me, where am I gossiping? And to be perfectly honest, I gossip. I gossip inside my own head when I'm judging the people who are gossiping. You know, so what is going on inside of me that these people are reflecting back to me?
Yes. Why are they present in the first place?
Yeah, but it's more like, is there something that I should be putting into this situation? Rather than recognizing that it's in me and all
Well,
of
if you
that.
feel like there's something you should say, then say it. If you feel like you got it and you're good to go ahead and go. Or that you're good with people around you gossiping. Oh, look at this is a human condition. Isn't this funny? Whatever is right for the individual person, we all know what's right for us. We all know.
It's pretty easy if you say you're not gonna be invited back anyways.
Or something will see that the people that you were standing in judgment on, that once you brought in a little light, that they all got on board. You don't know that.
Yeah,
We
that's
sell
right.
people short,
It's
thinking they're not holy enough for
Right,
us.
it feels like judgment, because you really don't know. You know, one person may have said something, but the other 9 or 10 people may relate to what you say in opposition to that, possibly. You can't just.
Or you can just
You know?
add to it. You know, somebody who's,
Yeah.
one of the things that I learned a long time ago in an organization called Results, a grassroots political lobbying organization back in the early 80s, that's focus was on lobbying the legislature to change the way that we give out foreign aid in this country. And instead of having it balanced on military might, it would be given out based on female literacy rate, infant mortality rates, and something else I forget. But the thing that they said is that if you go in there and think you're better than this person, you're not going to get anywhere. That this person, no matter what their political stances are, have a desire to help. That being in politics, at least back in the 80s, being in politics was not a money-making scheme. It was a lot of work, and that everybody who came to it came from a basis of wanting to help. And if you could connect with that person, and they want to look good. So if you could connect with them, with that wanting to help, and that you're going to help them look good in the process, you could get things changed. And they got the way that the US government gave out foreign aid changed. And because of that, we went from 40,000 children a day dying of preventable causes, to now we're down between 20 and 25,000, which still is a lot of kids, but it's a lot of not dead kids too.
Yeah.
So if we look at people like, well, you're just a bunch of gossiping, negative, whatevers, and I don't even know what I'm doing here, you're just so far beneath me, then we're missing an opportunity to see ourselves clearly. Well, why am I creating this out of these wonderful people? Why did I bring that? And what is mine to do? What is mine to bring? Well, I don't want to say anything that scares me. Good, say something.
And I think that last piece about it scaring me or not wanting to look different or be different, and it doesn't mean I need to say everything I know about metaphysics. I don't have, you know, well, I sit in this one situation, and typically it's, I'll go and I'll jam with a bunch of musicians, and it's great while we're doing music, that's why we're there, but then we'll take a break and sit around and talk, and I'm like, well, are we done yet? Let's go play some.
Yeah.
You know, but I don't have to say everything I know.
Right.
And part of my reluctance of speaking and saying what I really think is not wanting to appear different. Well, guess what? I am different.
Right.
You know, so I might as well be liked or disliked for who I am,
Right.
rather
Right.
than liked or disliked for
Pretending
the
to be somebody
pretend guy
that you're
in the
not.
show.
Right, right. Quickly? Oh, who? Breezy.
I had a question in regards to your references to gossip. Now, is gossip, the definition for gossip for you, only negative, or is that positive conversations about other people too?
Well, honestly, it's negative,
Okay.
and it's usually talking about someone who's not there.
Yeah.
If they're there, then it's a, it's a intervention. Sandy and Darcy, and then we're gonna close.
One thing that I've actually, to add to David's, one thing I've actually found is that I don't always have to say something. Sometimes when all of this stuff is going on around me, speaking loudly is not saying anything. And that's something that I really had to learn, because I was a Jehovah's Witness. We spoke our mind. So, yeah.
Thank you. Darcy.
I'm just gonna say, I work in an open space, there's 100 salespeople in there, it's a wide open space, you can hear everything going on. I just basically decided that if I was going to want people to allow me to be different, then I needed to allow them there on the same space. So whatever they want to talk about is okay, as long as it's not impacting me in a negative way.
Wonderful. And whether or not it impacts you is up to you, not them.
That's true.
Take out what you're gonna give. And in this consciousness of expansion, of healing, and of growth, I know that we are blessed. And I know that that blessing that we are goes with everything that we give. And so whatever we give this night, we know the presence of Spirit goes with it. The awareness of Spirit is in the midst of it. The love of the divine is all that there is. And so we know that the gift blesses this center, and everyone who comes here or is connected. We know that the giving blesses us, that we are prosperous and abundant in every way. And I know that each one of us comes together this night to make this center for spiritual living Asheville all that it was ever meant to be. It is a place of peace, a beacon of light, a tower of strength, and a fountain of wisdom that touches the lives of all who call it home. And so it is. Those of you watching online can go to the donate now button and contribute through PayPal. And whatever we give, I know that it is blessed. I know that Spirit moves through each and every one of us and fills up this room from the floor to the ceiling, all between the walls. I know that as Spirit moves in our lives, each of us is touched, we are blessed, we are healed. And I know that that energy goes out to touch and bless and heal every being on this planet. And then it shoots out into the heavens to continue its holy work. I know that that energy is always here and always now, touching every one of us here tonight, everyone who has ever been here, and everyone yet to come. And so it is. I love you guys. I'll be here on Christmas Eve.